Hey, what's up everybody? This is Audio Dread, and today I wanted to do a special little video that I've been planning for a while, where I essentially am going to go through and I'm going to show you guys how you can turn any sound from anywhere into a horror sound effect the same way that I do on my channel all the time. Show you guys that whole process, give you a full breakdown and tutorial. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take my brand new Zoom H1N. I'm going to go around my apartment and I'm going to record 4 completely random noises from around my apartment. This is not planned at all. I didn't make sure that I could do anything with them before I recorded them. I'm just going to go out, record them, come here, throw them in Audacity, and we're going to get started. So this is a comprehensive tutorial on how you can turn any sound from anywhere into a horror sound effect using only Audacity. Now, if you don't have a field recorder like I haven't for the majority of the time that I've been doing sound design, this is the first time I've had anything remotely professional. Don't worry, I'm going to be doing a second video, a part 2 to this series, where I'm going to do the exact same process, except I'm going to record all of the sounds using only my smartphone. So if you are like I was and you're just getting started and you have $0 to put into anything sound design related, then don't worry, I do have a video plan for you as well. Make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you can be let know as soon as that comes out. So without further ado, I'm going to go around, I'm going to record 4 random noises, and I apologize in advance for the recording quality. I'm going to be doing the recording part using my cell phone because I don't have a portable camera other than that, so it's probably not going to be great, but let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing we have is the sound of me ripping. So I got ripping paper towels, we've got pouring a glass of water, we've got pouring some coffee beans into a grinder, just the sound of them pouring out and then me shaking them around a little bit, and then we've got probably the lowest quality one, which is my cat purring and sniffing the microphone. I just wanted to get a good range of quality because you have some things that I had to turn the sensitivity up a lot, like my cat, it had to be at 10, it had to be all the way up. And then the coffee beans, it was actually pretty low, and that did something else interesting that we'll talk about when we get there. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to hit Control A to select everything, and then I'm just going to normalize it all to 0 decibels, and then we're going to solo out each one, and the first thing I'm going to do is just cut out the beginning and end of me handling it. We did end up with some handling noise throughout this process, but so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the end here because we have some room noise, and something really nice about Audacity that I actually like quite a bit is it's really easy to remove background and room noise. So I'm going to go right here where we've got the best just ambient room noise, background noise, white noise. And I'm going to go to noise reduction and click get noise profile. And then I'm going to select the whole track and hit Control R. And as you can see, that reduced that quite a bit. So now I'm going to normalize it back to 0 decibels. So it did some weird things to the rustling, but we're not too concerned about that anyway. So I'm gonna see if I can just select some of that. Get noise profile. There we go. So it causes some weird tones for the just rustling, but that's not really what we're after anyway. We're after the tearing, so I'm just going to kind of cut all of the middle stuff out because we don't really need it. I'm just going to cut to when that is done. Okay, so we got all of that cleaned up. And that's what we're left with. So now I'm just going to repeat a similar process for the rest of these. Just going to go down, remove this sort of handling noise. And I'm just going to grab a chunk from right here. Something I forgot to do that's actually really important is I didn't sit there with the microphone running for a few seconds before I started making noise, which is something that you ideally want to do so that you have a good sample of the just room noise. But it shouldn't be too much of a problem. That one actually turned out really well, so we're just going to trim off the beginning and end of that. This one should probably be the easiest. Now this is something that is really interesting about the Zoom H1n microphone. When you turn the sensitivity below a certain point, it will take the audio and it will artificially reduce the volume after the fact, which means that if you had peaking, I think it's like 3.5 is around when it started doing this. So if you're dealing with louder sounds, then it peaks, and you have the sensitivity down to prevent it from clipping, it will still have clipped and then reduce it later. So we have some very poor quality right here. As you can hear, there's all of that clipping. So we're going to have to get creative with using that. So this is pretty good in terms of background noise, but just in case, we're still going to, still gonna just get the little bit that there is out of there. There we go. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So this has quite a bit of handling noise, unfortunately, and the sensitivity just had to be so high it really just hears everything. So there's what we want. So I'm just gonna bring this out and bring this out because that's what's causing it to kind of cap out, and we're going to normalize it to 0 again so we can actually hear everything. Okay, so we're just going to take this, oops, and we're just going to do noise reduction again. Okay, normalize it again. This has so much background noise, it's not going to be perfect, but we're just gonna have to deal with that as is. The good thing when you're dealing with horror, there's a lot of things that you can do to kind of negate the room noise. Obviously, ideally, if you're dealing with something this quiet, you want to have a quiet room and no handling noise, but that's not something that I accomplished, so we're going to work with what we got. Again, I did not plan this to be in my favor in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to go back to the beginning. So I usually do negative 50% speed to start with. Okay, we're just going to repeat that. Okay, that's getting somewhere. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add some reverse reverb. Just going to generate some silence at the end here so that it has plenty of space. We're going to apply some reverb. I'm just going to do an everything reverb because I'm not sure exactly how this is going to turn out, so we're just going to start there. Okay, so toss that at the end. Okay. And that was just the same reverb again. Put that back. I'm just going to trim off the beginning here. And I'm going to add another layer of that same reverb. And then we're going to take this here. Let's trim off the end so it gives the computer less work to do. And we're going to slow it down another 50%. Okay, so now moving on to our water here, and then also the bonus of the mug being set down. So we're going to do something pretty similar here. I'm just going to start off with, actually let's try pulse stretch again. Nope. Okay. It often doesn't work on sounds like that, but you know, you never know unless you try. Okay, a lot slower than that. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. I'm going to generate some silence at the end. Oops. Silence. And then we're going to, once again, everything reverb. It's hard to go wrong with just fuck tons of reverb when you're going for horror. Reverse. Trim it down. Okay. So we're actually going to be playing this one entirely backwards because I just have a feeling that that is what's going to make it pop the most. So we're going to add more reverb. Technically this is reverse reverb, but it's going to be played in reverse, so. We're going to reverb it again just because there's, whoa, no, we don't want that. Going to reverb just the track we're working on again. Okay, so we're just going to trim this off at the end, and then we're going to slow it down again, because that will take care of some of the weirder tones that come in here. Now this one is going to be interesting because of all the clipping. Oh, it just did not turn out well. So let's see. Pulse stretch, I feel like you might not fail me this time. That actually did better than I thought it would. So now what I'm going to try to do, because sometimes if you do 0.01 and then 0.1, it doesn't mess it up, and sometimes it is terrible, and it just sounds absolutely awful. So let's see which one this is. It is the latter. Okay, don't even need to listen to the rest of that. Let's take the beginning. We don't really need that. We don't really need that part either. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we're going to slow it down. Oh, nope. We're also not going to do that. There we go. I misclick a lot because I do this so much that I just kind of rush it. So now we're going to do reverse reverb. Again, we're just going to generate some silence, do some reverb. All right, so now that reverb is done, we're just going to normalize it out, reverse it again, trim off most of it. I do not need to add nearly as much silence as I added. But sometimes things will reverb for a really long time, and so I like to have a lot of redundancy with that. Generate some more silence at the end here. Oops. Reverb it again. And I know it's going to need 2 layers, so I'm just going to double that right away. Oops. Normalize it out. Trim off the end. Okay, so I'm just going to pitch shift that down a little bit because it gets a little intense with the treble. Just by like 10. All right, some nice whir ambience there. So that's that one done, and now last but not least, well, last and probably least, let's just slow it down. When in doubt, slow it down. We're gonna get rid of that, and we're gonna keep it at 0. So we're pretty much dealing with this. So we're going to slow that down some more, and then we might just have to treat this like it's white noise. Let's do that one more time. Oh, that's doing something kind of interesting. So what happens if we pulse stretch this? We might be able to do something with that. This is going to be interesting. But this just goes to show how, if you know what to do, you can make at least horror sound effects out of pretty much anything. Which, if you've seen my challenge with the sound effects guy, there were some very weird sounds going around there. Whoops. So now we're just going to reverse that again. Trim it down. We have this, which is what you would call a problem. So when you have some clipping like that, just because of things not really going together properly, Audacity has this really nice tool called Repair, where you can select a very small portion of it, and then hopefully have it go away. But this is very pronounced. You just have to select really small samples at a time, so let's see. How's that? There we go. Okay. So I think when we add some more reverb to that, it should work out okay. All right, more silence. It's gonna need all the help it can get. So I'm just gonna add 2 layers right off the bat. So we got that little pop right there, and I could fix it, but it's gonna take so much effort, I'm just not gonna bother putting you guys through that whole process right now. It's basically just using the repair function on little samples at a time. Another pop here. Let's see, that's gonna be too big of a sample, isn't it? Oh, no, okay. I stand corrected. So there you have it. There was our purr, which again, you can take something and pretty much turn it into something else that sounds nothing like it. So that's basically what I did for that. So here was 4 random sounds from around my house that I showed you guys the whole process. This is pretty much the steps that I use on every sound. Obviously it's different settings and there are certain things I need to get more and less creative with, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So if you guys want to see more tutorial type videos like this, definitely let me know in the comments below and by hitting that like button. And if you want to see my tutorial on how to do the exact same thing, only using your phone, or at least only recording on your phone, then definitely subscribe, ring the notification bell so that you guys are aware as soon as that comes out. And until next time, I've been Audio Dread, and I hope to see you in the next video.